Hello, my name is Busiso, my surname is Ntibane, and this is my practical theory of teaching. Everyone knows I never wanted to be a teacher in the first place. I despise this profession, I look down upon it, but you will not blame me. Being from the township and growing up under a stereotyped society, one will be expected to be under those impressions. So everyone knows that teachers were known to be a less earning group in the society and were deemed useless. As a result, I never even considered this a profession. People will laugh at you whenever you were asked a question about the kind of a profession you want to pursue, and your response, if it was to be you wanted to pursue teaching or education, people will laugh. But due to circumstances and reality, I then decided to go into this profession beyond all odds because of bursaries and job availability. I enrolled into modules that helped me understand the development of a child, the behavior of a child, the cognitive operation of the brain of the child, and the nature of the impact an environment has on a child. We went to Achterberg, where we learned a lot about collaborative learning. This was during my first year. The university took us there. We will do group projects which will require us to work together, and it required each one of us to play their part in ensuring that the final product was done and that all work was in order. I got to learn that different children learn differently, and for that to actually happen, while at the end we all reach the same objective. It requires an understanding of the different teaching and learning styles, as well as the knowledge of Howard Gardner's multiple intelligences. These helped me a lot as I got to understand, for instance, that there are learners who learn better using visual literacy, audio, practical work, games, repetition, and explicit instructions, to name a few. This gave me a clear idea as to trying to understand my learners thoroughly and utilizing each intelligence for each learner as I taught. This meant I had to learn to accommodate all my learners when I taught lessons, and this had to be my knowledge from the planning process to the actual lesson taking place. Of course, all this theory that we were taught had a practical side of it, and for the practical side of it, we were required to go to a school on our campus called Funda Ujabule. This school is almost the definition of perfect type of school, and learning there takes place differently compared to other schools. This meant that I had to be mentored there, and at times we will not even get it because of other or general places where there's human beings, things tend to go wrong because of misunderstandings and wrong traits. But nevertheless, at the end, I learned a lot from the school, and we got things right with our planning to the actual delivery of the lesson. I was able to deal with my fears standing in front of learners to teach. I gained confidence and grew in teaching and gained the skill of delivering an effective and engaging lesson. This did not only apply at the Funda Ujabule school, but it was a skill that was mostly polished and nourished by the outside schools. I went for more of my will through the years, and most of the years I spent more hours on outside schools than I did at Funda. They will ensure that I get more involved even when I felt my level could not allow me to practice teaching in the real world. They still insisted that I get involved and get some work done, as they believed that was how I would get some practice of being a teacher in the real world. They even went to an extent of giving me a class and a textbook to teach, just so to ensure that I got some practice. And once they realized over the years that I was able to plan a lesson, they handed me classes to teach every day, while they just sat back observing my teaching skills and guiding me where I needed guidance and assistance, especially with things like classroom management. Every day they will send a report to the principal and guide me and mentor me while showing me on how it's done. The advice they gave me once I started practicing it was that I should be myself, and I was set to go. My family had always wanted me to study at the University of Pretoria. They even went to an extent of ensuring that I had all I needed when I had to apply there, from application fees, but I was keen on coming to the University of Johannesburg no matter what happened, and I made sure that it was a reality. When I told my friend that I was coming to study education at UJ, he could not believe it. And following day, he had applied. We were both waiting for our responses from the university. And after a few days to a week, we got our responses and we had been accepted and started applying for sources of funding. Eventually at home, they had to learn that I applied at the University of Johannesburg, and they were not really delighted of my decision. They felt I was ignoring their big concern about my well-being in Johannesburg. But after I explained to them how I intended to live my life in the big city, they slowly came to terms with it and started supporting my decision and helped me in acquiring what I needed for my success of the journey. Being born of a family that is dominated by teachers, I was able to get first-hand advice as to which electives I had to choose and what strategies to use in the classroom, and also the small things which added value to my profession. I made friends during our time in Achterberg, and they've been of help throughout my journey, from being study partners to supplying me with things I needed for my well-being, like question papers and other study material. They will take me out after having a long week of schoolwork and maybe even tests. This will help me unwind and created a better varsity experience for me. All the above helped create a teacher that I am today, a teacher who serves with integrity, love, respect, openness, transparency, a problem solver, and one day, hopefully, a super teacher. I have learned and grown in this profession, and one day I intend on going out there to make a difference and change the situations and unjustifications that are out there. Thank you very much for your time and for listening.